Spiral, 2 Jews, 2 mics, 2 hours, starting now.
Hey,
Hi.
Look at that face. I saw that face before you knew I was there, and the face said, "Oh God, why? One more time?"
Fuck, it's him.
But that's not really true.
No.
Hey, I can't talk past an hour today because I'm expecting a lot of offers from my appearance on Hacks, and so I have to keep the phones clear, or I have to keep the.
It was quite a tour de force.
I was on.
I'm sorry. It was quite a tour de forced.
That's the way I would describe my acting if you had to force me. Also, a little.
I do have to say you kind of walked like a cartoon penguin out of frame that time at the end.
I can't even believe it. They used that. I did walk like a cartoon penguin out of frame, right? I think you could probably chalk that up to that's maybe I'd walk that way anyway.
Huh?
Maybe you could chalk that up to I'm a funny comedian walking.
That's how you used to enter onto Letterman, was that same kind of walk.
Well, they had many takes. They like that, yeah. But what else was I going to say about it?
I'm kind of, like I said last week, I'm kind of done with that show, really.
I know, but I think
it's really just woke entourage.
Okay, I'm going to say make a new rule about this show that is like NBA basketball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We can't talk about it because I love it and I'm on it. And why do I want to even create the appearance that somebody's dragging the show behind the scenes?
I'm not trying to.
I know.
I'm not trying to make you a portrait of ingratitude. That's not my. Not that I think you're coming back. Not that I think you're coming back, Chili Willy, but.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying I should be I did that show. So what?
No, I don't. I'm not trying to goad you into anything. I'm just saying that even as much as I like everybody in the show.
Yeah.
And I just like, it's starting.
Even that episode with the roast?
Yeah.
I thought that was more like the typical, maybe you never liked the show.
No, I did like the show, but I said, it's just become entourage now. It's like, because it's, the stakes are all about, will she get the Tonight Show? Will she get it? And I just don't care if she gets it.
I don't know if that's true. And also, if it is, if you think it's true, please address your notes to Dear Josh. What are we talking about? But it was exciting to see me once again not look right into the camera, because I think that's one of my weakest things.
Yeah.
Is when I check to see.
Those are the takes they don't use generally.
That's the takes they don't use. Yes. Where I go, it's not even
maybe that's why they had to use the Charlie Chaplin take.
What was the Charlie Chaplin take?
I'm walking off like the little tramp.
I could argue, and when I saw it, I argued, I'm Andy Kindler, I'm a comedian, so I'm probably just trying to be funny, as opposed to, that's the scene. Beep, beep, boop, 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 boop.
You were just afraid of COVID is really all that was motivating that performance.
To be honest, I was afraid of COVID the whole time I was there. And I think
it was
shows.
Rampant on the set, apparently.
It was rampant. And it was rampant on the set that we almost couldn't even go back for the last day. But that
was the other thing about that. I mean, it felt a little, the set for the roast felt a little COVID-y. It didn't feel like a television broadcast.
Well, that's interesting. I didn't even think about that.
It was pretty sparse. And that's usually on that show, they're pretty good at big populations in their audience, but I think it looked like a fake TV version of a fake TV. You know what I mean?
Now, what do you attribute that to?
I think just budget. I mean, I think if you made it look like a real roast, you would have had to hire another 5 actors. You would have had to have filmed. You would have had to have probably booked a bigger room. You would have had to have filled it with more extras.
Well, I think that the show is always kind of like
that's nitpicking, though.
Right, and the show is always trying to define it's a difficult show to do in the sense because it's really reflecting what's really happening. So sometimes the decisions you might make may look weird a year down the line, or I don't know.
Yeah. Whatever. It's not my disinterest in it isn't because of the fault of the show. It's because of the
isn't
the
because of my
of the show.
My penguin walk off.
It didn't help. It didn't help. It didn't keep me in.
I just think it's wonderful that you crush all my dreams. So what am I left with now? I'm not going to get a series regular on that show, so it's back to the podcast again, back to the salt mines.
Exactly.
Imagine someone doing a show like this just till something else comes along.
I'm the Porter Wagner to your Dolly Parton.
Oh. Is Porter Wagner, I know that name, was he like a handsome guy who would sing to about Dolly Parton?
No, he was the Nashville guy who had the TV show that brought Dolly Parton on and had a relationship with her, and then she left him. Wait,
where did you get? What is this? I haven't seen this Dolly movie. I didn't even know you knew about Dolly Parton's career.
Stop. This is what I hate when you do. I know something, and you're mad at me for knowing it. I don't.
Well, no, I'm trying to find out what was the derivation. How did you know about this?
Because
maybe I'll read the book. Maybe I'll look at the movie.
That's another thing. That how did you know this? I don't track the source of knowledge, but I've known this for a long time about She Wrote I Will Always Love You about him.
Right, but you could have easily have. I was a big Dolly fan back in the Dolly days,
but I wasn't.
All right. Well, I'm trying to say I never heard this about her. All right, let's get past this.
It is not arcane knowledge,
and we can get past this moment. So, Porter Wagner, was he like the, what was his job? Was he the host?
He was a singer himself.
And he was a singer too, right? Yeah. But you can't name one song that he did, porting up my wagon. Not one song. I have to hear his voice to then say, I like him.
You don't have to like him.
I don't mind Grand Ole Opry though.
He gave Dolly her start.
Okay. And why did they break up?
Because she was too young and too big for it all.
Dolly is.
She was destined for more.
Dolly is the great. I feel like Dolly is one of our greatest Americans because she. Yeah, you're not going to argue with me because it's true.
I'm not.
She goes, I don't think I should necessarily get a rock and roll award. And
there's like
humble.
3 people in America everybody can agree on, and she's one of them. God bless her.
And that's exactly right, and that's that means that someone's going to come along and try and puncture holes in her.
They've tried.
Have they really?
Yeah, I mean, they spent the 70s diminishing her because of her breasts. Basically, I knew about Dolly Parton because of her breasts long before I knew about her because of her music.
Well, that's also reflective of the 70s.
It is.
Yeah, and the cleavage now on the shows like the Real Housewives shows, there is so much cleavage. They are actually using protractors to make sure that they want to expose all of the breast and yet still have a top. And it's very, very hard. And they compete. One will go, I saw all the way down to your areola. Is that the wrong word?
No, that's the right word.
No, but that's the first thing right there.
Yeah, no, I know what it is. And it's the right word.
So back then we thought it was shocking. It was shocking, the cleavage on Polly Dark.
It was weird when Wendy O. Williams was on the Real Housewives. The Plasmatics, she used to do electrical tape on her breast.
You stopped me. You stopped me in my track because I used to actually like the Plasmatics, and I wasn't sure whether you were actually doing something real there. Wendy O. Williams. That's the kind of reference I should pull out of my back.
And I go, how did you know that?
That's right. I like that about you. And then I would have to say, is it Wendy O. Williams or Wendy Williams? Because now there's a new Wendy Williams. Isn't there? Don't you have a talk show? Isn't that the same woman who's had some emotional problems?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad we got off to a raucous start. Oh, also, I watched Let It Be.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I loved it. It was like, I watched it. It was similar to the experience I had on LSD many, many years ago. Yes, I'd seen the Get Back before, but it was still, everything was delightful to me. Oh, it still is. I mean, obviously, after seeing everything else, you add your, you can fill in your own spots.
Right.
But it was just, I loved it. I just loved it. I remember watching it, not really quite knowing what they were doing then, but I just thought it was a documentary. So I think it works on its own like that. I guess they could left out too much of the story for.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's totally just a case of you can't watch it. You can't watch it with innocence anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Know? It's, but yeah, I mean, I think seeing it again. I mean, I really think too. What I didn't say the other day is the other factor is why it must have seemed so. Aside from them having broken up when it came out, is just it's really like the first time there was a thing where the Beatles weren't being the Beatles, you know.
Oh, I see.
Like they weren't being charming for the camera or for other people.
Yes.
You know, it was like the first Beatles thing that was really presented where they were real people.
That's very interesting because
so it must have been kind of an emotional letdown in that time, you know.
You mean emotional letdown for who?
For the fans of the Beatles.
Oh, that's interesting because yeah, but if you love the Beatles, you wanted to see anything.
I'm just saying that the reputation of it and why it was squashed for so long was that it was this depressing thing.
Well, yeah,
and it's really not that depressing a thing. Is my point. It was a depressing thing because of the context.
Because of the context.
Yeah.
But without the context, it would be even the original one was a nice film. It's a nice film, even though but you see, the thing is, they're trying to avoid, there's no way to avoid where they were in the Beatles at that point.
Right.
You know, so like every talk about the thing must have been loaded, you know, everything that they did. In fact, maybe you know the process about how it was put out. I don't know the process of how it was, you know, with the exact argument. I guess I'm always still looking for, well, this was good. Now show me the documentary that shows them all arguing or something. I saw one about Apple, which was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, I just think that, I mean, what's so great about Get Back is it's a peek into the process.
Yeah.
You know, and that's removed kind of from Let It Be. It's
no question.
Most of what you see is pretty much near the end of the process with each song.
Well, that's why I was surprised that they even alluded to that. They didn't make that even more sanitized in terms of like why wouldn't Paul go, oh, I look like a mean guy.
Yeah.
And then say, don't do that. Take that scene out. At some point, they must have just let it go.
I think so, in the sense that I also think that when that movie was being edited and obviously Paul was pissed off about the record that came out with it too, with Phil Spector's production. So I mean,
wait, how did he get that out then? How did he get that out as the Beatles if he wasn't happy about it?
Because he had basically broken up from the other three. They had gone with Alan Klein, and he wasn't on board with that. So so they had the voting power to basically do Beatles stuff.
Right.
And so, you know, that was when you know, they did Let It Be, then they went and recorded Abbey Road, and then it came out, and then they basically broke up, and then Let It Be came out. Right.
So I was talking about this. I mean, I don't want to be a completist, or maybe at one point I know everything about the Beatles, but the last album made was Abbey Road that they made, but not released.
Correct.
And Abbey Road had a lot of, the second side was a lot of bits of songs, I think, right? Isn't that I love it, but I'm saying it's like, she came in through the bathroom window and then Maxwell Silver Hammer.
It's a medley. Yeah, it's a medley.
It's really good. I mean, I don't hope people don't think, I just want to make one statement. I do not like number nine. I've listened to it 34 times. I admit, when I was 13 years old and I listened to it, I probably listened to every Beatles album with some kind of robes on, like a religious robes on, you know. So and I was such a big fan of John Lennon. I know I was like saying, you don't get it. What he's saying, rise. And then there was some stuff with Manson thrown in there too. It was very, very confusing. But I used to fight for, the Watusi. The Frug. That was as much part of my life as the other Beatles songs.
Yeah.
What's your feeling about Crean O'Cror? Just tell me if you like Crean O'Cror or not.
I don't know what Crean O'Cror
That's
is.
the name of the solo. I listened to McCartney's first album 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 times. And then there's a thing called Crean O'Cror. And I don't think I'm saying it, but it's Paul McCartney playing drums. And I think he is playing drums as if to say, what the fuck did I need any of these assholes for? Check it out. Bump, ba bump, ba dum bump, Cream Crow.
That's on McCartney?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm saying it wrong.
I honestly, I think I've never owned the album McCartney. So I don't know all the nuances of it. But he played everything on that album, yeah.
Not only do I have the album, I was even able at the age of 12 to say, why is Paul McCartney putting his finger in his nose? I don't like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Right? That was even blasphemous at that point.
Yeah.
But then I probably followed up by
Andy Kindler, hall monitor to the Beatles.
That's right. That's right. And then here's the other thing I wanted to tell you. It's not an important thing, but my image of watching this, I think I've even told you this, was mistaken. I thought Mal Evans was Peter Asher in that last scene where he's walking around. There's no Peter Asher. No. That's from a drug-induced coma I was on. There's my image was, yes, and Peter Asher walks out. And I know he doesn't look like Mal Evans, so I don't even know what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And I would like someone in the group chat,
Let me just say, Andy, on behalf of the universe, you're forgiven.
But then the other thing is that Mal Evans had a horrible ending in Los Angeles. Yes. He got shot, and the other Beatles didn't show up at the wedding. So
it's a funeral.
The wedding? Why would they have a wedding on the day he got shot? But here's my thing: I'm always looking. That's the kind of stuff I always want to know the background of. But then, if it's the Beatles, past a certain age of your life, you just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you were a member of their group. But I couldn't do it anymore. What am I saying I couldn't do anymore?
I don't know. Being a Beatle-ologist? Being a
Beatle-ologist, right. I think that's what it was. Although I would say that until probably yesterday, until right now, if I was asked who your favorite group was, I still probably say the Beatles.
Yeah.
And I'd probably say, but I would have to admit, like I have friends, one friend who passed away, Chris Gaffney, brilliant musician. He hated the Beatles. People who are older, sometimes they hated the fucking Beatles, and you could see why they did hate the Beatles.
Yeah,
because all of a sudden all music went this one way.
All right.
So I even used to say the Beatles. I didn't like I still don't like the Rolling Stones as much as the Beatles. Well, that might be nothing to do with age. That might be just my final opinion. Kind of.
I think it's okay. You've had 60 years to measure it now.
And I measured it, and it's 7.5 inches. I actually measured it.
Yeah.
And now you're gonna go, well, but it's so soft. Oh, I can tie it in half now and sleep on it as a pillow. It's big and soft. I can't do droopy.
No, you can't.
I can't do it. That's why you're in the catbird seat. No, the catbird seat is that where the cat is in relation to the bird? It would seem. But it's not, right?
I don't know. I never really picked it apart.
Well, I took a class, an undergraduate course in canaries and coal mines. I couldn't figure it out. What's that?
In parsing.
In parsing. Well, there was that time period. See, you can't remember this because you weren't even born. But there was that time period where people of my age would walk around and talk at school and go, I really think he is dead. Because we were too young to understand anything different. Right. He says he's pointing to Wednesday morning at 3 a.m. There was a guy named Billy Shears, right?
Yeah, Wednesday morning, 3 a.m., by the way, is a Simon & Garfunkel album. So.
That's true. So, what does he go? Wednesday morning at, what is it, Tuesday?
O'clock. I think it is Wednesday morning at 5 o'clock as the date is.
Okay. And so I think that I absolutely half believed it at one point. But I mean, it's like, and I don't want to yell at the 13-year-old me or the 12-year-old me. I mean, I was getting ready for my bar mitzvah. I couldn't get everything together at once.
Right.
But I really at one point thought, that it does say, I bury Paul.
Yeah.
I don't know if I really did believe it. Do you think it's possible I could have believed it? No. Maybe.
You might have wanted to. If you had to want it.
But what would you get? Well, if at the end of the day you go, I saw through it, then all you have then is that Paul McCartney's dead. It's not like you have some kind of secret you uncovered about the Beatles.
Well,
right?
It is a secret. That was the point.
That was the point.
He had been replaced.
And now what does he go, and here's another clue for you, wall. The walrus was Paul. Now, I was told that the Beatles used to play around with the fact that other people thought it was a thing, and they would try to encourage people. Is that why he said, "I'm the Walrus's Paul"? You're now the Beatle-ologist in this conversation.
Well, I definitely think Glass Onion was a reference to all that shit.
Right. And he's right. And also, does it have to be a glass onion to get the point of it unraveling? Isn't it the same thing, whether it's an onion that you can see through completely, that's made from glass, or one that's made from onion skin? It's transparency is what we were going for there, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about the Knicks?
I'm wondering if I could text Susan to hit you.
Josh would like you to hit me over the head or punch me to stop talking about stop talking about the Beatles or what?
Sure, yeah. Well,
stop talking about the fucking Beatles over and over and over again. Just the what? I apologize.
Oh, good enough. Good enough.
But I did.
Blessed are the peacemakers.
Susan showed me something that made me happy, because I know you keep saying carpool karaoke is the most brilliant thing that's ever been done. Give it a chance. And you send me like your favorite tapes. I've always hated carpool karaoke.
Huh.
But when I saw, yes, I submit to you now that James Corden has a decent voice. He sings. He used to be in musical theater. Probably.
Yeah.
Oh, I lost you. Where are you? Hold it. Come back. So, what was my point? That couldn't lose.
Your point was James Corden is the best.
No. That was my point. But they had this carpool karaoke where they go to Liverpool with Paul and they entertain these people. It's cute. It's cute, adorable, and wonderful.
Yes.
That's not what you're watching on free. Once you get to YouTube, you've already seen all those things already, right?
I think I saw that contemporaneous to when it came out, which was like 4 years ago, I think. But yeah, no, it was one of those things where it was cute, but you also were mad that James Corden got to do it.
I think Susan was showing it to me. Here's how Susan was showing it to me on the basis of, we both are not James Corden fans, neither one of us.
Right.
But this was cute to see.
Sure.
Well, I think always watching.
That's why not being black and white has its privileges.
Yes. And I believe that Paul McCartney, of all the Beatles, would have been the most, in the Paul McCartney mode, would be the greatest to hang out with over an evening. Unless John Lennon really started talking about LSD and stuff like that. But I don't think he would. I think he'd start kidding around.
Yeah, no, I think either Paul or Ringo when he was still drinking.
And don't forget, everybody, that John Lennon was a mess. The people he did hang out with, like Harry Nilsson, it was like a nonstop party or nonstop death march, almost, you could say. And aren't you glad? I always say this to myself.
He sunk to the depths of hanging with Mickey Dolenz.
Yeah, but Harry Nilsson's not with Mickey Dolenz. We can say that right now. Harry Nilsson is way more. But you know what? Here's the thing. I think Harry Nilsson is more interesting because I like his songs better. And I think Mickey Dolenz, I don't even know if he wrote songs. So, but this doesn't matter, does it? We know that Mickey Dolenz was obnoxious. I think it's hard to hear these stories about Mickey Dolenz without remembering that he went to every sitcom that would allow him to go down the set, including Raymond, and he'd walk around being Mickey Dolenz for a couple hours.
Yeah.
And that he had voted for Nixon. That's all I remember.
Really? I didn't even know that.
You don't remember
How
that
did you know that? No.
Okay, now I want you to argue what would be the socially redeeming part of me asking how you know. What's the part of me asking where you got it from that you could go, it's nice. He's adding a little curiosity. Go ahead, take it.
Thank you, Andy. The good part of that?
Yes, thank you, Andy.
I don't know. If I took pleasure in you being jealous of me, I might enjoy it a little bit more.
I am jealous of you in these ways.
All right, do tell.
Okay, I'll tell you how I'm jealous of you. Why didn't I go with Josh Mankiewicz to the lunch? Well, what do you want? What do you want, Andy? You want like a red phone or something like that? That every time Josh goes out, that he's going to bring you along, and then someone go, you could call Josh Mankiewicz on your own, Andy. Oh, that sounds very hard.
Yeah.
And I'm jealous of but not that, I'm not jealous of who John Cleese has become now. And I'm not jealous of the John Cleese thing. There's always a little jealous. If you told me tomorrow I jammed with Paul McCartney for an hour, I would at first go, I wish that was me. But then I get over that.
Yeah. I don't think you would.
I don't think that's correct, and I certainly hope
if you can't get past the Josh Mankiewicz lunch, I don't see you getting past the McCartney jam.
Did you tell me this about? You told me this. I was trying to source this. You told me that Josh Mankiewicz said that when they first started, it was they let each person do what they on their own. They left them alone. Like Keith and all these different.
Not that they left him alone. He was sort of jokingly saying that because of social media and everything, and they have allowed them to, to gain followings as if they have their individual sort of stardom within the show.
Right. See, I took it the wrong way. I thought they said that. I took it as back then they didn't. The network let them do what they wanted. So
no.
In other words, there wouldn't be someone going, Keith Morrison, don't say, oh my. That wasn't it. Everyone was on board with him saying, oh my. I'm not doing a good impression, but you know what he does. Well.
Right.
Well, hickory dickory dock.
You always do him as George Takei first. So.
Well, okay, now you do George Takei and then you do him and then show me the difference.
Oh my. That's George Takei.
Okay.
Now that's a horse of a different color.
That's the Wizard of Oz.
No,
why would you quote the Wizard of Oz?
That's text from the Wizard of Oz.
Oh, I went out and did a show last weekend. Nobody asked me.
Oh, that's right, the game show.
I noticed you never care about what I'm...
No, we talked about it. It's a game show with Jimmy Pardo and Blake Capatch.
So I get there early, as I want to do.
Yeah.
Don't you think that's a weird one? Want to do? What's up with that? And everyone loved me. They kept saying, good show. See, I can never...
And you said, thanks, and walked off like a penguin.
I walked off like, is there any reason why... There's nobody in America now. There's no way I'm going to be able to think about this. This day is ruined, as will be the rest of the week. It's ruined for me.
Which day?
Because all I'm thinking is that America sees me exiting like an actor who's going, look at me, I did a good scene.
Well, it was a dick move on my part, I'll admit. But
yet truthful.
But it rang a bell immediately when I said it. You noticed it too.
An alarm went off in my house when it happened. I said, "Why are they including my joke walk away?" Oh boy, it's nice to see. It's nice to be a big star. Don't you want to be on a thing like? I want to be on one of those stages at the Writers Guild where we talk about how great it was to be on this. What would be the show? Well, we weren't, you know what I'm saying?
No, it's funny you should say that just because I've been noticing the changes in me lately of like distinctly not wanting to be at places when I distinctly used to think I should be there.
Yeah, but the difference is, had I known what the show was, you would have enjoyed being on it. That's the difference in this one.
Oh no, I don't mean your show. I just mean in general, like on TV and stuff.
Yeah.
But no, I like that show when
that's up your alley.
That would be right up my alley. Yeah. But was it fun? Did you enjoy it?
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. I like that room. That the old UCB. There's only one UCB now, but it does happen to be either the greatest room or too small a room. It's one of those things.
Room on Franklin.
Franklin, yeah, right next to Burr. They was always next to Burr. I have not been.
I think
maybe
last time
once.
I was there, I did that. I did the set list. Remember that set list show where you have to make up stand up based on stuff that they.
Yes, I do. Was that Paul Provenza?
I think he was involved in it,
but not this time though.
Yeah. What do you mean?
What are you talking about? How long ago was this?
Oh my God, he had a stroke. It's a stroke.
Well, it's not so much I have a stroke as when I say to somebody that I met, "Oh, you're from San Francisco. Do you know blah 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 blah?" I just don't realize. No, they don't know someone from 1989. They don't know them.
Do you know Allen Ginsberg?
Yes, that's exactly what. I read a very interesting article or interview with the kid from Harry Potter. What a great man this guy is and turned out to be. And he talks about J.K. Rowling. He was like advocating for years for trans people before J.K. Rowling came out. And so this kid is very like self-aware, very, it's like he could have gone through that whole thing and lived the rest of his life as if he was in a Home Alone movie. Right? But he didn't. He clearly didn't. And I'm just very impressed by how he has conducted himself. Of course, if he's being interviewed, you always want to put the best spin on yourself. But I just thought it was like,
but still, you have enough of a dick alarm that you would know if he was totally full of shit.
Well, here's the thing: J.K. Rowling, I'm sure she thought, oh, these other actors and everything will back me up on this. When she's using people who are all thinking about marginalized people and worked with marginalized people, or came from a background where here's the truth. She's so fucking old, J.K. Rowling. She's probably younger than me, but she really is from that generation. Why do you put the funny heads on with the things and why do you dress like a girl? That kind of thing.
Right.
That's where she's from. And plus money. I think money and success plus your own stupid opinion will always get you in trouble. Not always get you in trouble, but it's bound. I don't even know the point I'm making is. Because there's a point I'm making is like, why couldn't she just shut her mouth? But she wouldn't have shut her mouth because she's mean. She's a mean person who doesn't want you to say, if you came tomorrow on Thursday and you said, Andy, I'm now a woman and I'm also a Methodist. I couldn't care less. How could you really be that upset ultimately about what someone wants to identify with? I know I'm preaching to the converted.
Yeah.
What's your take on Jerry, though? Jerry gave I'm here at Duke. I am here at Duke to give the commencement ceremony. Who are these people walking out? Did you hear it? I want to hear more and more about, first of all, why do people hire these idiots? Did he go to Duke?
No, but his kids did.
Okay. Well, then his kids should have said, don't. You're hated on the campus. Well, and rightfully so.
But this was all about Israel. This wasn't about his complaints about gay French kings.
But I'll explain to you something about Jerry Seinfeld that you might not know because I always have this voice. He goes to see a one-woman show or whatever, or meeting convened by Barry Weiss. That woman is an evil, evil woman who used to be part of the intellectual dark web. And she's just a horribly right-wing person. So for him to go see her as if he's curious, I'm going to see what Barry Weiss is like. If he knew anything about anything, she's hated and rightly so. She used to be on the New York Times. She's Islamophobic and extremely Islamophobic. So I would think that he really is off, but he really doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. And he's probably either listening to his wife or he doesn't know enough to make his opinions on his own.
Well, he did spend summer on a kibbutz as a teenager.
That's a difference between me and him. Why'd you say a kibbutz?
Because it implied that he spent the summer in Israel.
A kibbutz.
Oh, please, Jew me up, will you?
Yes, but here's the thing that eludes me about Jerry Seinfeld. I've laughed at his comedy. I enjoyed the first few years of Seinfeld. And then when he opens his mouth, you go, oh, he's going to be a friendly Jerry-like person. That's not who he is. He's a strange man who, from whenever he was interviewed, and I should go back into the archives and show you all the interviews he used to say where he used to go, it's always the comic's fault. It's never the audience. A good comic should be a comic who can play any role at any time. He's always been talking out of his ass, I think, is what it is. But we didn't need to know about that, except now you have to know.
Well, he's just always attached such certainty to every word out of his mouth that it's impossible not to want to just go back and smack him with his inconsistencies.
Is that general smugness?
It's general smugness. That was his general smugness. The enemy is at the door.
Because he used to be a comic.
Here's the thing, though. I think this is just sort of true. I mean, not all across the board, but it happens a lot. It's pretty hard to stay a fan of someone for 40 years.
David Byrne would be an example.
He is, but I mean, he's certainly had periods where I wasn't interested,
Right, but it's like
he certainly had to learn how to be a decent human to be around, it seems,
Well, the rest of the band members didn't like him at one point.
No.
Yeah. But here's the thing: is this
I did a joke once about he was doing this thing where he was like playing a building
He was.
And I was
okay.
like, by the end of the show, even the building didn't want to work with him.
Wait, I didn't know you had these kind of I didn't know this was an anti. I wanted to show you
again the glory of grayness, my friend. You could love someone and still make a joke about it.
I didn't know that there were gray areas. I thought it was one way or the other is what I thought it was.
Yes.
But I heard this David Byrne song I thought was just really good that I had never heard before. I was going to ask you if you knew this one. Glass, Concrete, and Stone.
I don't know that one. I don't think.
Oh, man, it was great. Also, how did I miss Weezer the first time around? I mean, I knew who they were, but I never got into them. What's up with Weezer? I like them. I just recently heard them.
Fun band.
Right. But did people turn on them or something? Like they're not as cool as they used to be? Or is that true with every band?
I think it's hard to stay for 30 years sometimes.
Yeah. Well, but you listened to them pretty actively back in the day?
Yeah. I liked Weezer a lot.
Yeah. They were good on the Millennium.
I think there's maybe 2 Weezer CDs in the collection.
The blue one.
But I liked Buddy Holly a lot. I did like that song a whole lot at the time.
I have to go back and listen to that one. I don't know. I watched all 6 days of the Mulaney show.
Did you really?
All 6 days, Susan and I watched it like a live event because we were excited about it. It was fun. It was fun to see it as a live event that we were going to go watch every night.
Yeah.
And it was great. There were great things on the show, and then there were not so great things on the show. And the last episode wasn't so great. But I liked here's what I liked about it. I'm going to do a talk show for 6 days. I'm not saying I should be a talk show host forever, and then I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
So he actually, if I knew, if you said to me a new talk show is coming out tonight, I wouldn't watch it. But if you told me, oh, it's a 6-day thing and there's a little bit of interest and it's live all around the world, that I would watch. But would I watch John Mulaney be a talk show host all the time? No, and neither would he want to be a talk show host all the time. That's the difference between, I think, our generation and generations younger than us, maybe. We did, not you, but we did want to be like Letterman or something like that. I wanted to be at one point.
Well, but that just doesn't exist anymore. So, I mean, it's not, being Fallon isn't being Carson,
Right. It doesn't exist. It does not exist. I can't even I used to think, well, you could point to something. I want there to be that Clubhouse for America that not Larry King, it was Tom Snyder used to be. Tom Snyder was like, I love to watch him. He's back. I'm going to have a colortini.
Yeah.
But the actual meat of what he was saying, he was nuts most of the time.
That was my argument when I was head writer on Later, was that we need to create something that's more of a club feeling rather than just doing the third talk show in a row, But I was outvoted constantly.
Well, yeah. Well, outvoted. I think people just thought he's too limiting, or don't broker it, ain't fix it. Don't broker it, ain't fixed.
No, he just didn't have a creative bone in his body, really.
Well, who knew that he would parlay it into becoming the most well-known actor of our generation?
Yes.
I think he really did see himself as a serious actor.
No, he totally didn't. He didn't see himself as any.
Oh, what?
He absolutely didn't see himself as a serious actor.
Oh, so he did whatever came along.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, so in other words, I make the assumption. Oh, and I even buy into the hype. Oh, yeah, he's more of a screen star, but he's not. He's boring on screen. The movies he was, maybe he is. I used to bend over backwards though and go, well, you don't because you don't like his comedy. But then I did like his comedy on Talk Soup. He was funny. And that one, he wasn't funny.
That was absolutely his wheelhouse.
And he was very funny on that show. So we can't forget here at the show. We don't like to forget the greats.
Yeah, no, he was good. He was good on that show. And, but I mean, there was all sorts of things going on too. I mean, when he got Later with Greg Kinnear, that was right when Conan got his show too. And they just were not sold on Conan. And so there was always this like dangling carrot in front of Kinnear of, we're grooming you for that slot, kind of.
Right.
And then Conan slowly got his footing a little better. And then Sidney Pollack came along and went, I want him in my movie, and that was the end of it, really.
As good as it gets?
No, Sabrina.
Which I never saw.
As Good as It Gets with James L. Brooks.
And you know who's calling again, Josh? Press Ganey. What could that possibly mean?
The Ministry of Silly Walks is calling.
You know, sometimes when I'm bored, if I get the fifth possibly spam thing in 2 hours, I'm not doing anything. Let's see what's going on. Let's see if it is spam.
Yeah. And it just says spam risk. If I'm not going to take risks in life, where am I going to get?
Well, I want to tell people, for those people who are unsuspecting, do not buy into anything anyone is selling, because you will don't give out your Zelle numbers.
Don't get overzealous.
Still, I just cracked up with my therapist about that Thursday. I sent it to her on Tuesday, and then Thursday I said, "What did you think of that?"
I wish I was back to 2 days a week so we could laugh about this twice.
Once a week is, and if anybody wants to know, if they're asking me for advice, once a week is really great.
Yeah.
It really is great. That's what I propose. Once a week for sessions.
That's right. That's all I'll go for.
Not you. One time, as a birthday present, we're going to buy you a half of a year sessions.
With a punch card. Did you? I saw you raised your Cameo price. How's that worked out so far?
It hasn't affected. I've got more work, actually. I think I was artificially low to the point of, like, what are you doing it for then?
Right.
Because what happened was I started out like everyone does on Cameo. I'll be 150. And then crickets, nobody.
Chirp, yes.
Chirp. And then you keep dropping the price lower and lower and lower, and then it got to be, that's where people started to buy it, but it's not fun. It's just not fun.
Right.
Now it's $65. I can clear $50 after the storm and drang.
Yeah.
And I'm on Easy Street, my friend.
It's like better than dealing weed.
And then the other thing to think about is, will I go back? I know I'm going to eventually go back to these clubs, but will I be always able to fly first class to them? Will I always be able? I haven't made the jump into, let's book me. Let's get me out there again.
Yeah.
And neither has America said, let's get him back out there.
Well, you
again.
realize that most clubs are booked for the year now.
No, but I have club owners who said they'll bump people, which doesn't sound so good. I don't want Lewis to bump somebody. No. No, I'm talking about would be next. I guess we're talking about for next year.
Yeah.
Well, no, Lewis is not everyone books like Lewis, though, right? They booked out 2 years, whatever.
No, Lewis actually, I would say is less in advance. This year he seemed more booked out further than usual, but
yeah. So what I'm facing with is that on an ongoing basis, it would be nice to have some money coming in from performing.
I can relate to that general notion. Sure.
You guys don't do any. Is there any chance that the Cinematic Titanics come up, or they just come up every once in a while? You do things with that group of people?
No, I haven't done a thing with that group of people since 2013.
I don't like this. I thought you would be able to.
I've done things with various combos from within that thing, but I have not. There's not been a Cinematic Titanic since.
Do you think that there were? Oh, I got it. That was it. I know. At least I cut it off.
Cinematic Titanic was the on ramp. I don't know if there's any
off ramp.
I don't know where that was taking it.
Oh, no. I was just talking about, I wonder if what I was actually thinking was kind of like silly. Is there still a Mystery Science Theater rabid fan base? There'll always be a rabid fan base for that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know how rabid they are any longer.
Yeah, because people die. People die. And
yes. But there is a robust fan base for it. Did you see, speaking of Mystery Science Theater and people die, Roger Corman died this weekend.
Yes, I retweeted what you said about him.
He died under budget?
Yeah. And the thing that was amazing, not amazing, but 98 years old. I didn't know he was 98. And I don't know enough about which is the movie. Did he do Carrie?
No.
Oh, what were the movies he did? The Thing?
No, he didn't do any good movies.
They were all bad B movies.
Yes.
You have to name one that is a cult favorite now.
I'm trying to think of what's the classic. Well, I mean, like he did like The Trip, which was the acid movie.
Yeah.
Nicholson wrote, and he did Grand Theft Auto and Eat My Dust with Ron Howard. He did Ron Howard pops the clutch and tells the world to eat my dust. But no, I mean his whole thing was, he did Dinosaur Island. He did, it was his whole thing was to make them ultra cheap and turn a profit. He's also the only person in show business who's ever threatened to sue me. So
yeah, I don't like that side to him. And then I guess I know about him from Peter Bogdanovich too. We always talk about.
No, I mean there's a million. I mean he certainly had a useful purpose to the movie business in many ways, but he was in it to make money.
Who was his mentor? Didn't he have a guy he?
No, not that I know.
Not? Oh, okay. I love a guy who's, I love the idea though about. I think it would be odd for anybody to do those kind of movies indefinitely unless you absolutely see them. Well, I have to do it because this is the way I make my living. This is what I'm doing to make my living, is to make these movies.
Women in cages. I mean, yeah. I mean, what? And quit show business? I mean, it's...
But could you say he had a good eye, or is it even hard?
Well,
he
had an eye for talent. It seems, I mean, he was smart enough to get good people at the very beginning of their career, and get them to work for cheap or nothing, But but did he have? He wasn't Ed Wood. I mean, I think he had a better sense of storytelling and being a movie maker. I mean, I've seen, because of my past, I mean, I've seen every level of shit movie made, and he wasn't incompetent.
How many of you did you cover, say, in all of your years of the different things? Did you do like 50, 100 movies?
I personally did about 50, but the show did 200 episodes, and I did like 33 episodes there, and then we did another dozen or 13 for Cinematic Titanic, and there's been other things over the years,
But Frank Conniff is, in other words, he does know all about everything, he probably has seen all these movies.
Well, he's seen more than me, for sure. And he knows just more about movies in general than me.
And is Doug Benson the guy you all aspire to be?
I think Frank Conniff can kick Doug Benson's ass.
Oh, in terms of knowledge,
yes.
Right? Yeah. All right, let's set that up. I feel sad that Doug Benson is now following me on Twitter, and I don't have anything to say that would upset him.
Yeah. Damn. The time has passed. Wow,
what a full life I must have if I resort to that.
My dogs are being very weird today. Allison's out of town, and so the schedule and the whole routine is all thrown off, and it's made.
Because she's not a presence.
Yes,
she's not a presence, so they don't. They need somebody on your level or Allison's level to calm them. Tell them what's going on.
No, she
gives
them breakfast usually. And
okay. Are they hungry now?
And they don't want to get breakfast from me because that's not the routine.
I love you. I love learning about dogs through you.
Yeah.
Because you. I just thought that I was in a therapy session that we had to stop 10:50, 10 to 11. Because your point of view of dogs is the greatest. It really is. Because
thank you.
Because, and I'll tell you why. I've told you why a million times. Because you are not in the mode. You're able to separate yourself from the dogs. Whereas a lot of the dog owners are like, hey, get down from there. Get down. Now, I did hear someone say, don't get a small dog. I don't know what the context was, but why are all your curtains ripped? Don't get a small dog. They'll destroy it.
Yeah.
But that's not always true, right? It depends on the small dog.
It depends on the small dog, yeah.
But when you come back from something, are they dragging the couch or going into your hamper?
No, we've had like incredible luck having, aside from Larry, our first one, he was a property damage guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he would chew shit up and
And you couldn't talk to him about it, right?
Yeah. I mean, he would put on fake guilt for you whenever he did something, but and he got better as he grew up. But as a puppy and a very young dog, he was such an asshole.
And did you ever say to him, "What are you hoping to accomplish by chewing on that Ming vase?"
Yes, we did. We came at him with a lot of different tones.
That's why Susan and I are very happy that we know that if we are not going to have pets, because it's ridiculous.
It's late in life. It's late in life to start. It really is.
It's late in life to start. We want everything clean here. We don't want, Susan, they got into your cocaine. Okay. I don't know. I went that route. I had a dog who used to do cocaine. Okay, I'm not fading like you think. No. I went to a lull workshop this last weekend.
Really? To shorten them or lengthen them?
No, to not call attention to them.
Captain, it's the lull alert.
The teacher, who's Vinny Boom Bots. I don't know if you've taken his
Junior.
He said the worst thing you can do. He teaches a podcast course, and it's like good habits, bad habits. A bad habit is to say, I'm out of stuff. This is a lull. For example, when I used to be in your house.
What else?
Or from the old days, what's that thing that's on the shelf? Are you sure it's the thing you're saying?
Yes.
No, Andy. And that I'd like to say boo to me in those days when I thought, I'm just trying to get stuff going here. Why do you have a pinball machine in your house, Josh? I like pinball machines. Pretty good, right? That was me thinking I was going to get to the depth of every. First of all, I thought you were going to be like the genius who answers every question. Right?
Right.
Didn't we think that?
And then
about you?
Then when I did that, you went, "How do you know that?"
Right. Because it didn't serve my purposes. I think that this whole show making me out to be a deranged person is true and yet
hurtful.
And my next, it's a tough one now, but my next, I guess we have a lot of injuries that I didn't know about since I wasn't aware of the names of the people on the team.
On the Knicks?
Yeah. We have a couple of.
Yeah.
Well, Obi-Wan
But no excuses. We're not making excuses.
This is the thing I hate worse when they say on the pros when they go, what are you going to do that LeBron James and everybody else is out? It's up to the next man. They always say that.
Next man up. We aren't making excuses.
But you should be able to go, but the next man isn't as good as him. There's no excuse.
That's right.
The only time that you could use that it worked was Willis Reed, who really was like injured and came out and played some solid minutes and was an important contributor.
He wasn't really. He scored 2 points in that game.
I know, but why is it that we get it, Andy? You went to the fourth game of the World Series. We get it. You liked the Knicks when they were great. We get it, Andy. You never liked the Yankees. Well, that makes sense.
It does make sense. That's the first thing you've said all day that makes sense.
You can't say that 55 minutes in. After all I've accomplished.
Sorry, I'm looking at my little list here.
I never knew you made a list.
I do sometimes, yeah.
Okay, but not every time, right?
Not every time.
Because I have it every time. What do you want? You want me to go the bibliography? Hey, I was going to try that joke out again with you. What's up with the Hey, thank you, Nurembergers. It's the Nurembergers. Yeah. So if you want to know notes that I wrote from last week, I have them here.
Oh, that's good.
I don't know about my hand now. I'm beginning to think it's not getting better. Like I said,
remember because you went to the doctor and he said, "Yeah, that's what you have," and it's not.
No. Because I said to myself, a shot that doesn't sound right. I shouldn't be getting shots in there, and maybe I'll just wait till it clears up.
It's not going to clear up.
No, but what's it going to be? He's going to shoot stuff in there. I'm going to be like, what do I care? I mean, my image is, you know what it is? I never liked shots when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I had terrible doctors and everything.
Here's a tip. Look away.
I don't mind any shots that are like in my arm or flu or anything like that. But they've always talked about these shots. Maybe the people who've received them have always said, I cannot believe it. Hey, Susan says the bottom of the foot is very, very painful.
Yeah. But you know what? it's going to hurt and it's going to be over. You know, it's like you can handle something hurting for a couple minutes, can't you? You're a big boy. You had sciatica. It hurt.
Well, yeah. I mean,
it's not going to be life-defining pain. It's just going to hurt a little for a second.
Okay, but every time I think about that thing where they did go through my wee.
Yeah.
Every time I think of that, I get sick again.
Yeah.
I go like this.
I mean, as I've said, I've had some incredible things done to me that but you know,
I've always chalked it up to that was the old medicine. Now they have, they just have one of those things that McCoy uses.
But it's just, it's just pain. It's not
that's
like
true.
it's something that's going to be uncomfortable, and then it's not.
Right.
And then
right.
It's probably going to be a lot better to go through just that little bit of pain than having this chronic thing that plagues you for the rest of your life.
Not everybody had parents who sent their kids to relatives who were or claimed to be dentists. Not everybody had that in their background. Not everybody waited for Dr. Appel 7 hours looking at his stupid aquarium because my mother overbooked it, or he overbooked it.
But you know what, Andy? You're a grown-up now. Not everything's about what your fucking parents did, okay? Change some patterns. Break free.
You know what? I need to hear that. A lot of times I need to hear that. You're the tough guy.
You need some tough love. You do.
I don't like good cop, bad cop. I like good cop. Well, I've already done that joke. Really good cop. Okay. Why would I pull that out from Dr. Katz?
I don't know, because you're scrambling at this point.
I wouldn't say that I'm scrambling. I guess I am worried now that you're going to hang up on me because it's almost.
Well, you're right. I am going to hang up on you.
No, but the thing is, have you ever thought that maybe you're hanging up on me and that type of thing? You may have prevented the greatest bit that I was just about to say.
No, never occurred to me.
Dreams, sweet dreams, don't look for tomorrow's troubles tonight. Take it slow. Time slips away when you hold it too tight. Ooh, louder than thunder, a voice in my heart tells me there's nothing to fear. All of the answers here in the dark will appear. They're just hidden by years. All things come in time. The answers are here. They're just hidden by years. Life goes on. We'll put the pieces together again. I'll be here to follow this road wherever it ends. All of the shadows run from the light, gone like yesterday's tears. One by one, the treasures appear. Ooh, they're just hidden by years. All things come in time. The answers are here. They're just hidden by years. Run like a river, run like a child. Tomorrow's a long way from here. One by one, your dreams will appear. Ooh, just hidden by years. All things come in time. The answers are here. They're just hidden by years. Ooh, your dreams will appear. All things come in time. The answers are here. They're just hidden by years.
You know what bothers me is the way the cords stick around me, and I don't care what's happening in Ukraine. This is unforgivable. The way the cord kind of rubs against my leg.
Yeah.
That's worse than what's happening in all the hot spots in the world.
Sorry, I was reading your shirt there, the Brooklyn Autism Center.
Well, thank you. That is not, you said nothing that would have required a thank you.
Is that a bridge or a spectrum?
I can't believe you're doing this. 2 minutes into his autism set, he's doing bridge spectrum jokes. Now, let me tell you something, Josh, and let me set you straight on this before we go one step further. Before you dot one I, or what's this from? And do it before you dot one I or cross more T, one T.
I don't know. I do not know.
I'm not Mr. Scrooge. I'm the other guy.
Mr. Potter? It's not.
No. It's Scrooge. Who's the guy who works for Scrooge? Tiny Tim's father.
Bob Cratchit.
Right. He says, Bob Cratchit comes in. He goes, "You're late, Cratchit." I'm joking. I had a big thing.
Muppet Christmas Carol?
I'm joking. With the meanness today. I had a big thing happen last night. So that's it. And so Bob Cratchit's all like, oh, I hope, this sounds real. And he goes, now, Bob Cratchit. He goes back to the mean voice again. I want you to go before you cross your next T or dot your next I. Put some coal in that stupid burner of yours.
I'm joking with the meanness.
Whoa. Bobby Cratchit. Hold on. Can't you see that I was playing around, like I was yelling at you because I normally yell at you?
Do you see the level of self-awareness I've cultivated just overnight?
Yes. And it all happened in one night. I feel bad for all of the miserable people, for all the miserable causes I gave till this day, keeping people in workhouse. Are there no prisons? Are there no workhouses? That was the name of one of my workhouses. Are there no prison workhouses? Okay.
Ouch.
Wow, hurts. Gobble deuce. Okay, I have a problem I have to tell you about now.
Okay, do.
It's a quick one.
All right. Your problems are never quick.
Okay, here it is. And here it is straight. These Apple phones, Apple between the Mac, between the phone operating system and the computer, they have over, you know how many shortcuts they have now? They have over 1 billion shortcuts.
Wow.
That they have and if you take a 10 to 25 hour course, you too can learn within weeks and here's the thing. Okay. So I have the phone. It's a regular phone like this. Now I want to turn it on its side and it's off. Not off. All of a sudden it's like, oh, thought spiral, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And look at this picture of your brother and you. I don't want that. I want to turn it to the side, just have the time. But that's going to take me an hour or 2 hours to figure out. That's all I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Now you may say,
that's Apple's fault.
Yes. No. Smartphones, more like phones that can barely communicate. You call that a smartphone? I don't think so. Oh, that used to be enough in 1987.
Right.
Okay, now I'm calmed down a little bit.
I'm just saying it's a geriatric carpenter who blames his tools.
I laugh like solidly with my good new self-esteem that I'm losing because I only have one session a week, but I'm still holding on.
I thought that was meant to boost your self-esteem, that you only need 1 week.
It has worked.
Yeah.
It has worked. Because a lot of times Thursday I'll call her like at 5 to 2. Hey, baby, I'm so lonely. But then she goes, you can handle it, she says to me.
You're like, I don't know my lines.
Oh. Oh. All right. Now I have one more thing to go over, and then the floor is yours. Like I always
fantastic.
say, the floor is yours. I realized I always like to reflect back about our times together on the podcast over the years. And my mind goes, first of all, I walk by your house and I go, yeah. Remember I was supposed to come and check out his new construction? What the fuck happened with that? Whose fault is that? My fault. Thought you were going to go by and play with the dogs at one point. Oh, it's too hot. I don't want to get doggy hair. All right, so that's one problem. All right.
All right.
So,
well, you can solve. I mean, let's solve that since it's a problem. You're not wanted here.
Okay. You notice when I give you room to deliver your material, you have bigger chance of getting laughs with it.
I can commit a little more. You got a little more time to commit.
Because you have, I said, I'll let you get a couple of words in edgewise. So I was thinking about our times when, like, I'm singing, right? Like, and so I'm singing a song, and so at one point, I'm showing you that I'm singing "God Only Knows" by the Beach Boys, right? So you say, I start asking you questions about the song. He goes, you say it's one of the goddamn greatest songs. It's one of the greatest singing things that has ever been in the history of music. So here's the thing about it. Did I make that unclear?
A little unclear.
Okay. So, I was pointing it out as if it was a new song, and I was going to try and sing it. I haven't heard people. Have you heard? It's one of the most famous vocals ever.
Yeah.
Okay. So the point is
you are wiping your mouth a lot today.
I know, because I had a bagel beforehand.
Okay.
Is it okay?
And that just makes you salivate or what?
No, it makes me afraid I'm going to spit things.
Oh, okay.
That's why it took me so long to get married. But so here's the thing about it. The thing about it is this: part of me is grandiose. In other words, part of me does feel like at age 70, 71, I'll give it a couple of more years, that I will come out with this version of God Only Knows. I'll get a call. If Brian Wilson's still alive, he'll call me.
Right.
Carl Wilson will call me.
Well, he does have dementia, so there's a chance now.
He might like it, you mean?
Right.
We're not making dementia jokes because we know that I have it. So the thing is like, when just that reaction was like, to me, it was all there. My grandiosity, because what I'm saying is, I don't want you to not only admit that I can sing, I want you to admit that I can be a top 3 recording artist on the R&B charts by next June.
Yeah.
I'm not just practicing this falsetto with you on wah 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 wah. I am not doing that as a joke. I'm going to be in can't remember the name of the group.
Beach Boys. Beach Boys.
No. Wah 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 wonder why. Why. Remember when you fixed it for me?
Del Shannon.
Yeah, when you fixed it for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fixed now. I'm playing with a doo-wop group. This is not fun and games anymore. I'm auditioning for a doo-wop group.
Fantastic.
So here's what I want to say to you.
It's actually it's Jew-wop. Let's just be clear.
It never fails to make me laugh. And you can find new ones every day. Taekwondo Jew. I guess that's making it too far. But the point is this. The point is, I feel like the little guy who used to think he was going to be Willie Mays until all the kids grew up bigger. I'm never going to lose that part of me where I'm seeing myself in a singing hall. Blah, 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 blah. That part could be grandiose, but I really would hope that I don't drop everything, take out a second on the house to build a recording studio. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I'm also not going to limit. I'm not going to think about, what will happen to the song when it's done. I just want to sing, write song, and I don't want to limit myself in any way. So I'm just saying I'll accept a record deal. entertaining record deals right now. And anyway, I thought that was a perfect story, and I can't stop talking.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense because this was a conversation we had, like 2 years ago? And,
well, you're going to find the clips and you pull it up.
No, I'm not. Bruce might be able to find it. But
have you been getting my show notes? Because I send them to you every week.
No, you don't know how to use email.
I don't. All right.
So did this become front burner for you because you're singing on this song again?
No. It just was a funny.
It was just like an old tape loop that shook loose.
No, what it is that when you get further away from something, I may be wrong. I may be wrong when you said it's the goddamn greatest song, but my feeling was that I was communicating. Not only can I sing some of the greatest songs of all time. Right. Type of thing.
Yeah, so, first of all, I'm sure, I don't think I necessarily felt it that specifically in my head, but I think you're right that the grandiosity is what I was reacting to. I think it's a good word. But this whole spectrum of, I can't sing, my parents made me think I can't sing, and then all the way to I could be the greatest singer in the world.
Right. That's the problem. There's an inherent problem, but it's not, if you think of it as a 5-year-old kid fantasizing that he's Willie Mays,
yes,
it's not as bad.
Right.
It's just normal. I get excited.
Just because you turned out to be Eddie Goodell, the midget that Bill Veck played in a game once.
Well, so many things went wrong for Josh in the last minute. He had to communicate the idea so much that he needed to use the word midget without with what's your plum. Okay, so I'm sorry I interrupted you, though. Or maybe I interrupted you.
No, I just made a short joke. That's it.
But I think that, so the point is, what do you see as mental health? A lot of people would say to my mother, what did you have 45, 60, 70 years? I'm not giving you 80 years of therapy. You're not getting 81 years of therapy from me. If I had 90 years, you wouldn't have it. Okay, so what did it do for my mother? What has the therapy done for me? Well, a lot of that was my dad just very unhappy in the marriage. Have I ever said this not
that bold-faced, no.
Okay, my father was very old school, so he wasn't like he was, and he didn't look around for women, too, but I think he got trapped.
Right.
He got trapped.
He was like, this is my life sentence.
Right, because my mother, according to him, was very sweet, very nice, very lovely. He saw none of the warning signs. It's not like she's a monster, but she had all of these horrible things happen to her that she probably, in the courtship of the relationship, didn't show to my dad, right? Or my dad was okay. So he feel.
But is it possible that her depression and feelings came from a similar disappointment towards him?
I'm
just saying, were they both? It's possible that they were both equally unhappy with one another. Yet,
there's reasons for that too. I can talk about this because it's known in my family, and it's an important thing to mention. Okay, and I probably mentioned before. My mom had an abortion. Before she had any kids, she had an abortion.
As did my mother.
Oh, okay. Have you mentioned that? Maybe.
I think I have because it was. Well, I'll tell the story after you tell yours.
Okay, so she was freaked out. She didn't know what to do. And my grandmother, on my father's side, said, you should have an abortion. You have an abortion. And then when she went to my father was like, I can't answer these questions for you. You ultimately are the one to decide, since it is your body and all that kind of stuff.
Good for him.
Right? So
I guess maybe he was a little short on the emotional support there, but nonetheless.
Nonetheless.
Politically correct.
But obviously, so she went through a horrible thing with that, where she felt nobody was there for her, where nobody was there. It's just one of those horrible things that happens, And so I don't know how I got to the okay. So,
and when did you find this out in your childhood?
Probably when I was 17.
Okay.
16, 17, not in my childhood.
Right. Okay.
But they certainly let me know I was an accident many times.
Sure.
Oh, you were an accident. And I told you the story that the Italian family across the street told them how to do the rhythm method. And Mr. Science, my dad, Mr. Science, listens to the Italian couple across the street.
All right.
They go, oh, don't have it this day, have it that day. Boom, Andy Kindler pops out.
Wrong rhythm. He was doing the tarantella. He should have been doing the hora.
What's the tarantella? I don't know what that is.
Italian dance.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, I'm not that Jewish.
I was pretty pleased with myself for putting all that together in real time.
That was very good.
In real time.
So the thing is that obviously I can relate to everything here. I can relate to my dad not being ready, not knowing what to say,
sure.
Being like and having that part of his personality was not really. He wasn't used to dealing like that.
Right.
So, but it's also reflective of what was happening in the country and all that. But my father used to say, oh, your mother went to therapy for 30 years. So how did it help her? And so he made us all not want to have therapy, although we've all eventually did. But what, and so
why
so
would that be the one thing you should believe?
Well, so what does therapy do? It doesn't make you less grand. It doesn't make you never grandiose, but it makes you more aware of how you are in the world. And if you're less angry, just be less angry at yourself. What I've seen a lot in the last couple of years is every time I get upset, I know that if I'm really upset, it can't be the specific thing.
Right.
Why would I be that upset about the specific thing? So it's almost always a metaphor for something else, you know?
Right.
And so this is what has made me the world's greatest husband, one of the greatest comedians of our time, certainly a beloved figure, star of stage? No, star of screen, small screen? No, neither.
No.
Recurring.
You are a star of stage. You're a recurring of screen.
That's right. So have you been? I'm sure you've been following. This is the only week I have been following the trial.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to say this to you. I turned it off after an hour or so, and I still have the same gripes. Except why do I want to? Except I don't want to tweet about it because you can't tweet about it, and nothing. And what's the point of it? But the point is when they start getting into this ball game thing. Oh, I think he made a good point. It's like they're talking about. Oh, they caught Michael Cohen on the thing. There's nothing. This case is the most transparent case you could ever have. A guy has his checks he signed with his stupid handwriting, and you have him on the phone. I spoke to Alan Weisselberg. Oh, we do it in cash? No. I'm slightly smarter than you, Donald. That's the thing that's sad is that Michael Cohen is probably smarter than Donald Trump. I don't even want to say that Michael Cohen's stupid. It's just that he's I don't even dislike him. I like him now. But I think you can tell. I mean, he's just been an asshole for so many years. You know, his turnaround, it must be hard to turn around.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a certain trail of carnage that you can't clean up completely.
Yeah, you can't go from "I'll break your leg if you say one thing" to And he was very hurt that this typical Trump.
Because he truly was one of the great shitheads of the century.
He really was. Do you remember when he was interviewed on TV and he was saying they said, he's down in the polls. What polls? What polls?
Right.
I don't know if everybody remembers that.
I do. With Breonna Keeler. Yeah.
Yeah, just very unpleasant. Every poll. So anyway, have you been have you been enjoying it or? I even watched CNN
enjoying the
sometimes.
trial, you mean?
Well,
no, I don't enjoy it. I didn't. In fact, I kind of tuned out during the Michael Cohen stuff in a lot of ways, just because you knew that day 2 was just going to be
right.
Trying to expose what a lying shithead he is, which he is.
Yes.
There's no way around it. So
yeah, I would say that
that's why. But I do think the prosecutors have done a pretty good job of going, think of what you like about the guy, but but here's the paper trail, and here's
Yes, and they can go. Well, and people don't like him. There's like, well, they didn't have Alan Weisselberg. Well, this is not. I mean, the jurors can't be that. The jurors are not as stupid as they are assuming every day.
Right.
They can be stupid,
but it's not. Whatever the case. I mean, I don't think it's. I mean, I have no certainty that he's going to get convicted.
No.
I mean, I don't think it's so.
I hate the whole system. I mean, I'm disturbed by the whole system that he isn't already in jail.
Sure, But no, I'm really just pleased that he has to go through it. Frankly,
that's so good to see him.
I really, I'm steeled to the fact that he could be acquitted or hung juried, but it doesn't matter to me. I just like him being powerless.
Yes, absolutely. And if there is a God, Donald Trump is exactly what karma is. Karma is like
not yet. He's not yet what karma.
No. But here's the definition of karma that Alan Watts, one of my favorite philosophers, used to say is like it's not like you punch someone in the face, then you're going to get punched in the face. It's that you become what you are. Your karma is what you are.
Right.
So he has become what he is. His karma is just him sitting with that horrible face and the melting hair.
By the way,
that's his karma.
Neither of those is what karma actually is.
Well, that's what Alan Watts says.
Yeah.
What do you think it is?
Well,
this is not going to be one of those conversations where two people who are not that versed in
Buddhism. That's why I'm going to simply say it's a very specific religious concept that deals with the next life.
I think it is, but I think I was very swayed by Alan Watts.
Alan Watts is creating an analogy for it. Essentially, he's creating a certain more of a.
He takes
he's secularizing it, and
that's not what he did. He took the car. He went from the word, which he's already ahead of me now, from the Sanskrit word blah, 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 meaning you do it. Uh-huh. You do it. That's what he's claiming. Karma says you do it, but then he goes on from there to say some other things, and I understand what you're saying. I don't want to hang my hat on the karma definition.
Good.
You're saying why am I looking over there?
I don't know.
You're saying it's a strict something from reincarnation.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a religious concept that you can secularize and call it whatever you want, payback,
Right. Well, I'll have to get Alan Watts here to argue with you about it because he's dead.
I wish I could be like Alan Watts. I wish I could be like Alan Watts.
Who's that?
I wish I could be like... It's the Kinks.
It's the Kinks?
Yeah, David Watts is actually the name of the song.
Oh, you had me thinking they sung about Alan Watts.
No.
The Kinks, let me tell you something. Hold it onto your hat and plug in your teeth. That was a good goddamn group, those Kinks.
True enough.
They're still alive, right? Both of the Kinks, they're all around.
I believe both
Kinks.
Davies boys are still with us, yeah.
Oh, I saw a great documentary about the New York Dolls, and I realized I'd seen it before.
Yeah.
And I've even told the story before, but I couldn't remember what the documentary about Arthur Killer Kane.
Uh-huh.
He was the bass player.
Right.
And he had and he really wanted to be, wanted to be famous more than anything else his entire life. And he had big problems with Dave Johansen. One day he turns on, he opens up the TV guide and there's like he's in Scrooged. He's in heaven. So he jumps he defenestrates himself. He defenestrated himself and almost killed himself. 3 stories.
Yeah.
It's like, to me, that's like, I can see that in my own head. Adam Sandler signed 7-picture deal. Boom.
Right.
Out the window.
I thought of you right away. That it was
so
just
you just see the same thing, right?
Huh? No, I mean when you just told it to me, I did. See, it's not a new doc. It's been around.
No, it's not a new doc.
I saw it a few years ago, I think. But yeah, no. As you're saying it, I'm saying that's the extreme version of Andy Kindler.
Yes. And even with his case, he was like, came by it more honestly. It's like, oh, I don't know why I hate the guy, but I really do. He's like, it's like, I wish I didn't hate the guy so much. But so it's a great thing because he became a Mormon or whatever. But I don't know, he probably died, whatever. But it was a pretty cool thing. It was a pretty cool thing. I don't recommend people go into the Mormon church, but in his case, that when they had that reunion concert, it was really good. And I really actually started to like I don't know anything about their songs.
Yeah.
Now I started to like their songs because I had my whole idea of groups that I didn't know what they were like. Oh, that's like Poison. Okay, long hair, glam rock, right?
Right.
So I would not have been able to. I knew the New York Dolls were I knew the New York Dolls were great, but I didn't know why.
Yeah.
And I still can't say I know why, because I
don't know that they were great. I think they were interesting and of their time, but I mean, they played like shit.
What's that?
They played like shit. You know, it was
right.
It was very much a punk aesthetic musically.
Yeah, but wouldn't you call the Ramones great? I mean, people like the Ramones.
Yeah, no, I don't think they're bad. I just don't think, I just don't think that, I think, I don't think their music lives separately from them.
No. It's, here's the thing. I get into I want everybody who didn't make it as big as they wanted to make it. I want to make the argument they could have made, because all I do is it's another grandiosity thing. What if I was a New York Doll?
I am like literally the opposite of that. I'm like, showbiz is not a right. It's like, I feel like, especially music, it's like if you had a moment, you succeeded in the music business.
Right. I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right.
But I think that the music business itself is toxic.
Yes.
There is there's ramifications of having a moment in the music business.
Absolutely.
Psychologically.
Oh, we never talked about the Mulaney show. I watched every night of the Mulaney show.
We did talk about it a little bit.
Oh, okay. But I told you about when they had the punk rock people on?
I didn't see that. No.
That was very cool. They had like Exene Cervenka and Lee Ving from the group Fear.
Uh-huh.
So they were like 70 or 80, and it was hilarious. It was very, very fun. So what'd you think of the Mulaney thing? Did we talk about that or no?
We talked about it a little bit. I only saw the first one, and I got, it's like I'm a little bit Mulaney'd out, but
right.
That last special kind of bummed me out. But
is that about him divorcing? Or?
No, it was more about his rehab and stuff. But I just felt like it was not doing a service to people.
Oh, this is when he talks about going to the doctors to get heroin.
Yeah,
and the one guy is like coming on to him, kind of
tricking his business manager by buying a Rolex, and it was a lot of it was like an hour-long humble brag. I felt like
I mean, I remember laughing at that special but I will say that it's almost impossible that he's almost always funny.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think he's funny. I think he's funny. He's just his. I mean, I guess it's his personality grates on me.
Well, yeah, I mean, because he built into his persona is like an arrogant guy, like an arrogant. What do you call that?
But I honestly, I just have sort of stand-up fatigue right now.
That's true. Not me though. You like what I'm doing, right?
Oh, thankfully you don't do it very much, so I haven't.
What? What kind of thing is that to say? Thank you.
But I like, I'm totally for him doing something different and trying something and having it not be, having it just be this thing as opposed to a pilot for a thing or
right. Yes, that part was great.
The idea of I like the for the love of the game quality of it.
Yeah,
a lot.
That is true.
So I'm all for those kind of things. So I'm, I don't want to put bad vibes on it. But I just didn't feel like watching it.
Yeah, I think I told you that one of the things that made it interesting was that you knew it was going to end. So it made you more able to watch it.
Right.
Which when you sometimes watch these guys at night, late at night, I can't watch this anymore.
Yeah.
Although I have been watching more. I do watch more. I watch both Seth and I watch Jimmy occasionally.
Do you?
Yeah.
And you're on a first name basis. It's fantastic.
What's that?
You're on a first name basis with them both.
Jimmy.
Yeah.
I was telling Jimmy and Seth, he's doing what he's doing. Oh, I heard a great interview with A. Whitney Brown on Maron. I haven't listened to Maron in a long time because I just, I love the shows, but I was inundated by podcasts. A. Whitney Brown, what an interesting guy that was. I mean,
I like him.
Have you ever met him and talked to him?
No, just on Twitter.
Oh, yeah. And then remember we missed him. Remember I almost made him mad one day and you were like, oh, Andy. Oh, but then we made up. But where is he now? I don't know where he is.
I think he's in Texas.
Oh, yeah. No, he lives in Austin.
Yeah.
But his wife's a very famous Caroline Wonderland. She's a blues guitarist.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know what I was asking. Where is he now?
Yeah, I don't know what you were asking.
Okay. But it was a good interview. And he was like, he's done all the drugs. Uh-huh. He's a very incredibly, very smart man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, it's not like he's not like coming up with fake things in those. I didn't see a lot of the big picture, but I'm sure they were great. Did you remember those? It was called The Big Picture.
Yeah.
And it would be him going on and on about some kind of topic.
Yeah.
This shows how long
on the Weekend Update, you mean? Those things?
Was he the Weekend Update guy?
No, he was just a frequent contributor.
But he would come in
Miller,
during the update. He would, yes. And he was so funny because when he's honest, he goes like, Dennis Miller, man, I don't think that guy knows what he goes, I don't think he knows what a joke is. I don't think he can identify. He goes, his whole act is him saying, I'm better and smarter than you.
All right.
That's his whole act. So it was interesting to see. And I don't know. I like to think of myself as a rebel, but I could not have done some of these things. If I'm working on Saturday Night Live and he says, we're going to take acid. It's midnight. Look at that snowstorm. Let's go, Kindler. I like to think I wouldn't have done it. I'd be dead.
There's no chance you wouldn't have done it, though.
That's true.
Andy, here's some drugs.
Yeah, but you know what? I actually made it more grandiose. I had imagined myself being on. I think that's what it is. I could never be. He would take.
Oh, you were the guest host in this
whatever.
Scenario?
I'm on the show, right? And I could. How am I going to do the show now? A Whitney Brown. How am I going to do the show?
Wow.
I'm high from the acid.
Wow, that is grandiose.
And I think it's more Andios.
Speaking of grandiosity, I was on Jay Kogan's podcast this week. Our friend Jay Kogan, thought spiraler, Jay Kogan.
Wait a second. Now you're saying who's grandiose in this?
I was just kidding.
I know,
it was a joke that a podcast was somehow grandiose.
And was it fun?
It was fun. It was like, I've known Jay, as I said to him, I've known him for 30 years, and it was the longest conversation we've ever had. So,
do you do it by Zoom?
Nope. I went to a little studio in Hollywood.
Oh. I'd say it's sometimes better when you go to someplace, I think.
It makes it, it puts you on your game a little more.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Anytime I do a podcast like that, I come away very disappointed with myself because I feel like I should have been much funnier. Especially since he brought me on as a sort of a joke in the context of being a guy he sees as a joke writing guy.
Machine.
Yeah. And I just
that's too hard to too hard a pressure to put.
So Jay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for not delivering the goods, but I hope you can salvage something from it.
Yeah, but also, aren't you talking about you're talking about how to write and all that? You're talking about the general business, right?
We were a little bit, yeah.
Did my name come up? And did my name come up? And
it did. Please don't listen to it.
What? That sounds like there was something negative that went on. What? My Knicks are doing well. 3-2.
Yes.
And they could, if they win it tonight,
we will know the outcome by next week's show.
We'll know the outcome by next week. And this guy Brunson.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I was like, whoa. That's why I could never be anything to do with sports. I can't even say, boy, his release. It's like I know he boy, does he look great when he shoot. Right. How does he get around these people?
It's hard for you to find your grandiosity in this context.
No, it's hard for me to find a way to. On the subject of I could do anything, which I think is the grandiosity thing. I could be a sportscaster, but I know I can't. I mean, I could be like that guy. What's his name? That everybody hates. The son of Jack.
Sure. You
Jack.
definitely could be that guy everybody hates.
Yeah, Jack Puck, whatever his name is.
Buck.
Right. But this guy Gary, who does the Mets, I know he's not always looking off of some stat thing.
Right.
He has an amazing memory.
Yeah.
And he loves the sport. I think you need that.
Right.
You need knowledge of the player.
I mean, you have to also mix in it's his actual job to know
right.
this
And
stuff.
so I think you need to have knowledge. You need to have things at your fingertips. But I was always thinking, like, how do they know? How do they know this? And I go,
no, that's the thing with you.
How do they do it?
How do you know that?
Okay. Well, for example, it still bothers me that I can't identify a pitch. I don't know I can see if it's obviously sinking.
All right.
But I can't. They're always, he threw a screwdriver. He threw a
even with the trace lines that they show now?
Afterwards, sure. But I'm saying they know it without having to see it. They know it from the...
All right, but here's an argument for you about why that's okay. Because that's why they're there.
True.
It's hard to tell a pitch on TV. And if the general baseball audience could tell a pitch, they wouldn't be telling you what the pitch was every time.
That's true. That is true, because they do almost every time, and every time it's like, whoa. The only one that I used to do myself was a knuckleball. I'm not saying I had a good knuckleball or a bad one. I'm just saying I could put my fingers like this and throw it crazy.
Yeah.
Which I guess
that I believe.
It's actually unbelievable to me that there are knuckleball pitchers, because it really is the hardest thing in the world. They're all wide. Every one of them, the best of them, are all like walk 75 people.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Because it's an uncontrollable pitch.
Also, the days when they would load the balls up, that must have been disgusting in those days. Load them up with stuff.
Yeah.
Put stuff on them, nick them.
Right.
And why is that? Because what does it do to the ball? Nicking it
changes the aerodynamics of it.
Oh,
much like a knuckleball does.
I guess I could have figured that out.
The unmoving seams are what cause the wind to...
Oh, listen to him. Mr. knows. How did he know that? Hey, I want to be like Einstein. I mean, the real deal. Not just in a play about Einstein. I think I can do it. I challenge you to give me something to solve that you don't understand about the universe. Give me 6 months, and I will come back here with at least bullshit.
Do you know that we passed our 7-year anniversary this last week?
I can't even believe this. I
know.
It's unbelievable to me.
It's really crazy.
That I've been, and my back.
Not crazy good in the good way either.
Well, you know why my back hurts?
Crazy in that doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results kind of way.
No, I hate to say it, we're hitting our stride because that will mess it up. But my back hurts though from this show.
Really?
Do you know why?
Carrying me?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Carrying you. Yes. Yes. Some of these podcasts, I think that maybe there's too many podcasts now.
You think?
Well, obviously they are, but some of them are like, and there's different types.
For some reason, in the last 6 months or so, we got on some various PR firms lists, so people are pitching me guests a lot. Not high shelf guests either.
You mean for our podcast?
Yes. Publicists. I'm on various publicist lists. So and so has a new book about whatever.
Can you mention any of the middle shelf, or there'll be too?
Well, it's no one you've heard of. It's not. I mean, it is literally like a particular burger place has a publicist, or someone wrote a book, or someone's they're just trying to.
The dogs are very, very, very quiet today.
Way to jinx it.
What is that laugh? I don't like anything about me.
Yeah.
You know what? I like me for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Then if it's still going, I'm doing something with it wrong.
Right.
My back is better. Thank you.
Old Jew Medical Corner.
It's a little bit better, but I have to start. I called already to get the physical therapy, so I got to get that started.
That's good. What's been different that's made it better? Just knowing what it is. Well,
if you would probably interview Susan, she would probably say I'm whining a good deal every night. So, but it definitely improved. So it bothers me when I walk a little bit, but I can walk. But when it bothers me, I go, oh my God, I must stop walking because I am dying. Because I say I shouldn't be my own trainer, basically.
Right.
But I've been able to sleep better. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
And, so I'm looking forward to, 20 more years like this. 30. We shouldn't be thinking about longevity. We should be loving ourselves for what's going on now.
Yes. But it's hard.
Why? Because it's so drab?
No, just because look at what we're doing. How could we love ourselves? Really?
Let me tell you something. I don't know what your problem is with this podcast. I find it's easy.
Yeah.
This podcast is easy peasy. You go into a thing twice a week. What are you complaining about? Is it Muppets? Do I have Muppet face?
A little Muppet faced, yeah.
I'm starting to watch Vanderpump Rules. I'm sure you're excited about that.
Oh, God.
Anything new? I'm watching so much TV now. I have to tell Susan there's a new season of Selling the OC. We watch these real estate shows.
Why do you watch this shit?
Because you know what? We need better garbage shows. You need a garbage time, like in basketball.
Yeah.
Where you want the TV on. And so I want it to be like something that's okay in the background, like Tamra and Hall, maybe. Or somebody, like a good, or Tom Snyder if he's still doing his late night show.
Yeah. Dana Schwartz recommended the show Dark Matter on Apple.
Oh.
He says they bring up Schrodinger's cat a lot. You might like it.
Ooh, I like that. And you know what's amazing, though? You can really see how the scheme is. I mean, not that you couldn't see the scheme already. You go to Apple TV, you go search two things. It's all of a sudden bringing you up other channels. Everyone then does it. It's like your Apple TV, and you go. Then they start to, because you could bundle it with something else,
right? Yeah.
So immediately they're like, oh, this is going to cost you money. Or you're going to have to.
Yeah, Allison actually subscribed to Paramount Plus last week.
Right. Oh, you did?
Accidentally, and then I unsubscribed her.
Wait, are you still on your trial for something?
Still on the free YouTube premium.
Is it a process of diminishing returns?
No, it's awesome. It's much better.
Maybe I could be a YouTube MC. What about that? Is there like a? You know what? For 1 second, I went. I'm really jealous, but I should not be spending any. I should have no other diversions in my life.
From what?
Good point. Good point. Good, solid point. What am I doing? You're saying, right?
A little bit. I mean, I asked the mirror that as well. Don't get me wrong.
No, but more.
Oh, here's what I'm doing. This is my big news this week. I have a new self-destructive hobby.
What is it?
Ice cream making.
Well, that wouldn't fly over here because of the unless you made the.
I can make you if you have an artificial sweetener of choice. I will make you a batch.
Oh my God! Now, how long have you?
I've had it for a week. And it's. I mean, and I've eaten very little ice cream. I've made like 3. I'm like, this is like, but it's my kind of like thing. Like, I want to fucking get good at this. Like,
wow.
I really want to have some mastery over ice cream so I can think of a thing and execute it. So,
wow.
I'm in the learning phases now.
The learning phase now. So do they all come out kind of inconsistent or?
Well, I'm just trying to figure out what I want my general base to be. For example, you can do the custard based with the egg yolks, or you can do a Philadelphia style, which doesn't have the eggs in it.
Because I think Haagen-Dazs has egg yolks.
Yeah, most do. I did a French vanilla with the egg yolks.
Wow.
I'm gonna take one egg yolk out next time. It was a little too eggy. It was a little too like creme brulee. Then I did a Philadelphia vanilla, which I liked a lot, but it is definitely less mouthfeel.
Wow.
And then last night I did a mint chip, a mint chip.
Mint chip, yeah, without the coloring, right?
Without the coloring, yeah. And I haven't tried that yet.
So now, when you say self-destructive, it seems to me that there's all upside to it. What's the downside?
The upside, I mean, the self-destructive is I'm always going to have ice cream in my house now, when that wasn't the case ever before.
Wasn't right. But is that?
But I'm not a giant. The weird thing is, it's not like I'm a giant ice cream fiend. Like it's never been my go-to treat or snack.
Right.
But I just like the idea of it. I just like the whole.
I can
it's
see
like
why
when
you
I got.
like
It's like when I got into braising. It's like I had to braise every meat and figure out how I braise things. It's like it's the same kind of thing.
And so
it's both a total Josh kind of hobby, and it's also a total sign that I need a real project to work on, because I literally this whole week my head has just been all like, what's the next batch going to be? What's it going to be? We'll do 4 egg yolks instead of 5. We'll do it's like, I have to stop myself, because the machine itself is, it's a self-freezing thing. So it's not like it takes prep. You don't have to freeze a bucket the way a lot of them are. So it's like,
what do you mean
it's there ready.
Oh, it's all contained in that unit.
Yes.
And it never sees a freezer, right?
Well, it sees a freezer once you've made it. You make it to the point of it being like a soft serve consistency, and then you freeze it.
Wow. So if I was at your house, if I lived with you, I'd be dead by now.
You would be dead, yes.
Yeah,
but I do extend the offer if there's a dream ice cream you want with an artificial sweetener. I will make it. I'll whip you up a batch.
I will look at the. I've been eating mostly this Breyers vanilla. Vanilla. I don't know what the sweeteners are in there, but I'll let you know because that would be nice. And I'd like every Thursday.
Okay.
Is that going to work out with your?
So I'm going to try to move into the yogurts and sorbets and a little healthier areas, but
well, is it the same concept? No matter what you're free, it's all the same. Sorbets is probably the same.
Well, no, it's no. I mean, they're all different in terms of their content. Mm-hmm. But once you've made whatever the thing is, it's all the same. You just dump it.
Have you tried the grass-fed ice cream?
I have not. No.
It's delightful. You said I couldn't be funny anymore with a one-liner. I thought that was pretty good.
Oh, was that a joke? I'm sorry.
No, it was funny because it's funny because it's true. Oh, it was interesting to see A. Whitney Brown talking about Saturday Night Live and just talking about these guys. And he would like how great George Meyer was on The Simpsons. He said George Meyer really kind of like
he's kind of
he kind of
the sage, the comedy sage.
And then he was over Saturday Night Live after that.
I didn't know he was
for a year or two. Yeah, that guy is hilarious, George Meyer. He's come up with some of the But how do you know this stuff? No. Because I used to argue with Jay years ago when we had the stump. I would argue because he would argue my argument, which of course is based on not as much information as he had. My argument was that the Simpsons was great. You couldn't make the Simpsons without Matt Groening, and that I know he wasn't involved in the day-to-day of everything, but I can see the through line from the old Life in Hell comic. I can see his sense of humor in the show. And Jay Kogan's thing was no, it was all Sam Simon, and very rarely he wasn't even on the set.
Right.
And so
you were arguing with someone who was actually there.
Yes.
About what the show was.
But Jay Kogan can be a little argumentative, so it's not like
sure. Sure, but he had the righteous position because he was there.
No. What I say is that's not true because he was there with his particular point of view. You are saying things like, according to him, Sam Simon imprinted the whole show. You're saying, and some people say George Meyer imprinted the show.
Well, I mean, so I think there's different imprints that they made. In talking to Sam Simon, what he took credit for when I was talking to him was the family. Like the thing that he held precious was to always hold on to the family show aspect, the familial part.
Oh, I guess what I'm saying is I was a Matt Groening fan I was a Matt Groening fan before The Simpsons. And so I just don't think, I think that even though you could say, okay, this guy was there, obviously he was there, and you could say, oh, Matt didn't show up. I just think it's one of those things like you can't take him out of the loop. He's very funny. And even the fact that he came up with it in 5 minutes on a napkin doesn't mean that he didn't come up with a germ of something that was a great,
well, I think he absolutely
thing.
did. And I bet if you presented it right, Jay would agree with you.
No, but this was on the stump where
nothing
names.
Could be presented.
Squeaky the Third. big fat suit. No, we actually, at the end, we did have real names.
It was always real names.
No, it wasn't at the beginning.
Really?
I was Squeaky for a couple of years. It was probably less pleasant during that time period because we knew who we were, so it was stupid.
Yeah.
After a while, we know because I remember Jake Hogan, look Squeaky, and I was like, what?
Well, it really was a good microcosm. It was this sort of positive interchange that became it was like really like what happened to Twitter as well. It was really like at a certain point, everyone just got sick of each other and started getting mean.
Oh, I created a hubbub there because I raised objections that Jill Soloway would always just talk about her vagina, and then it got into a whole thing. Like, I thought that they were showboating. They would showboating with their vaginas. But it also shows the progress of the internet. I mean, because there used to be a time when people did these bulletin boards. I don't even remember. I know a special thing was a bulletin board first, but there wasn't. It used to be that you could only go on once or twice a day, and then even the stump after a while was immediate.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, nothing interesting, and I'm saying it, but I'm saying it with a little verve.
Yeah, at the stump, I remember you would always get the digest. You would get the email digest of what had happened that day.
Right, but then as they went along, it was like you could always go there.
Yeah.
And it would be live.
Right. And I did, and I started getting into fights, and I went, oh, this isn't what I...
Did you got into fights?
I got into a couple fights, yeah.
I can't... So, I know, if you got into fights, it means it was a negative... there was that fucking Gavin Pallone was on there.
Yeah.
Who's a bully. He was literally a bully. He's literally... a bully from a 50s TV show.
The reason it's easy to agree with you is that he took such great pride in being a bully.
Yes, no, there's something that he would even deny.
Right, yes.
Because that was a fight I always had with Jay Kogan. Was like Jay Kogan.
He's listening. He's listening, so you can talk directly.
I had a meeting. I had a meeting with Rob Schneider, and thank God it didn't go anywhere. But I had a couple meetings. How could you be represented by? He's like, how could you be represented by Rob Schneider? So I always felt, which I think I did say to him on the Stumper one, how can you be represented by Gavin Pallone? That was my argument. But as you see now, as you see it in isolation and me describe it, it's sound and fury about nothing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I felt, but he was right about Rob Schneider. Rob Schneider's one of the worst people, I think, in the world.
Yeah,
he's been not just his politics, on a personal level. He's treated people horribly, and he can sue me for that if he wants to. I say you've treated people horribly in your show business career, and I'm willing to go to court.
Yeah,
if he listens to, I hope he doesn't listen.
I only met Rob Schneider before he had any celebrity. So
any celebrity?
Yeah, he was a club headliner at the Comedy Gallery in Minneapolis is what I
remember. So I remember seeing him in San Francisco, and I remember he was funny.
He was funny, yeah.
Okay, so that he did have some funny things.
He was beloved as well at that time.
He was beloved in San Francisco, right?
Yeah.
And or the minute, yeah. So, but something's wrong with him. He's a bad guy. He's a bad man.
Yes.
Yeah. When you get to the point where at the end of your life you go, what did you do in my life? Well, I made a lot of people die because I encouraged them not to get vaccines. That was one thing I did, etc. Someone sent me. I got this comic book. It's called Snelson. I got it at Earth to Comics, which is a wonderful comic book store, but it's going to close.
I thought it was Earth 2, not Earth to Comics.
No. It's Earth 2 Comics.
All right.
But I'm the one who used to say...
But you're saying it like, Earth to Andy, come in.
Well, that's because I based it on my joke, which I want to be the first comedian to go on Space Shuttle, so I would be able to say this all day long. Andy to Earth, hello. And so I used to say to him, Earth to Comics, hello, when I would go in there, and everyone had a great time.
That's good.
Well, it's closing now. It is now closing. But this comic book I got called...
And the guy who owns it, I met on the Stump.
That's right. He was one of the main people, and he's a wonderful man. So there's a comic book that he sent me, a book called Snelson. It's really amazing. It's like it's about like a right wing comic navigating, saying that he's getting canceled, and but actually, it's unbelievable. It's like It's really great. It's really great. Snelson is called. So I recommend that to all of our listeners.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have any questions for us this week?
Got a couple of email letters.
Yeah, I like
Parush wrote in. Said,
hi, Parush.
Been replaying and laughing like a hyena at Josh's mom cracking the squirt gun story. Thank you, gentlemen, for an excellent show.
That was really one of the best stories, I think, because your mother really. See, your mother, she followed through.
It was, she was total badass.
Hey, give me that. Crack.
It was such a good story. You even remembered it. I mean, come on.
Well, everything's different with me now because of the therapy and the drugs.
Ben C. just wrote to say, just listened to today's episode where Josh talks about the Jerry Seinfeld Pop-Tart movie. I watched it this weekend with my wife. I turned to her afterward and said, the least believable thing in that movie is Jerry Seinfeld having a successful interaction with a human child. She didn't get it, but I hope it amuses you. And it did.
Yes, it does. It does. Because the thing that's so frightening about him is that you want to enjoy, if you didn't know anything else about him, you would want to, and you just knew it from Seinfeld, the show, you would think you could make a delightful movie. But apparently he has not, and I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, you haven't watched it yet?
No.
My recommendation didn't get you to it? Whatever. Joe McLeod says, Josh's presence on Blue Sky is less than robust. So I thought I thought I would point this item out to you. I am getting caught up on test episodes, so kindly excuse me if you have noted this and y'alls are completely over the whole James Mason Pavlovian response, which is also the name of my new band. Also, vaping is bad. Good day to you. And so
vaping is bad. Well, not your vaping though. It's okay.
He sent us a poster for a movie called Kidnap Syndicate, starring James Mason. The poster.
I can't imagine James. That's interesting you say that because I cannot imagine James Mason in a movie where there would be a kidnapping scenario. I say it's impossible.
Well, they took my children. And you don't cross old Jimmy Mason. I have special skills.
Except the ability to, you know what your special skill was? To sell garbage as if it's good and to tell people it was good. That was your best skill. It's a very wonderful drink. It's like something you've never had. I hate you, James Mason.
Well, I just signed a new deal with Night Train. Go 2020 all the way.
People still drink these large Miller High Life things.
The 40s?
Yeah, what is the deal with that? Is that just you get very drunk from that? I never enjoyed getting high off a beer. It always felt weird to me.
Yeah.
Do you like the buzz?
I like beer. I don't tend to get very drunk from it, but
if you want to get buzzed, what would you have to do?
I think you're confusing taste with economics when it comes to 40 ounces.
I got you. I see. That's right. That's right. This is not something that people go out of their way to drink.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, but I've had Guinness and it tastes like garbage. I don't understand it. So I have no palate, zero palate for it. Maybe my dad scared me away when I asked him for beer and he said, "Oh, you like some beer?" And I knew he was up to something because he got one of those beer glasses and he was like, "Ooh, please." Right. And he so rarely got excited about a prank or whatever. So he's like, I think
that's every father's favorite moment.
Yes, that's right. That's right. How do you drink this? And then a father goes,
I've taught him a valuable lesson. Yeah. Now he'll never go that way. Like the fathers who would lock their kids in a closet to smoke a carton of cigarettes when they got them smoking or some shit like that.
My father got caught and my sister was like, "Oh, why is Daddy smoking in the basement?" What?
Did your dad smoke?
He did smoke and he did quit, but he was sneaking him in the basement at one point.
Yeah.
And that got my mother upset.
I did. I mean, I have to admit, I did start on my dad's cigarettes.
Your dad did quit, right?
He didn't quit. He quit by dying, pretty much. I mean, he quit by being in the hospital, really. And even in the hospital, he snuck one. So.
Man. Your dad. I wish I could have met your dad. I wish I could have met my father. Get it? I didn't really ever know him. I don't know about you, but I'm getting, I would never hang, if it was up to me, I wouldn't hang up on you. But I keep thinking there's got to be a letter. There's got to be something else that you could close with that would, take this genius to another level.
I wish. Oh, how I wish that were true.
Well,
if you want to support what we're doing here and maybe, make us even improve, go to buymeacoffee.com/thoughtspiral.
You know what I was thinking the other day?
Josh,
right? The other day I was thinking, I like honesty when people, it's like, no, don't, I'm not going to send you a T-shirt that you won't wear. You're just sending us money that we don't even use for coffee. And that's what I love about the whole thing.
Yeah. It's just a metaphor you're buying.
That's right. I'm buying a metaphor.
That's right.
I would like to hang up on you. Boo, 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 boo. Hey, Josh, look over. I can't do it. Just do it.
I'll do it. Fine.
Okay, no.
I hate you.
The Watusi. The Frug.